All right, Sports Talk Detroit, we are coming back at you with another Trading Jerami Grant video. This one is about trade rumors with the Boston Celtics in what would be the best player out there that the Pistons have been linked to. All right, everybody, as I said, the best player out there that the Pistons have been linked to, and that is Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. Now, the Boston Celtics their name has been out there. They're interested, but here's what I'm telling you right now. If the Boston Celtics are calling me and they want to make a trade for Jerami Grant, I tell them it's really, really simple. It's really simple. It's Jaylen Brown or I'm hanging up this phone. And I don't care if I have to give extra. I'm going to give Jerami Grant, and I know I'm going to have to give other players. But that is what I want. The only other thing is I know they have some picks. The only other thing I could consider is multiple first-round picks. I'm not talking two. But anyways, because I know there was a similar trade to that before, and at least one of those better not have a lottery protection from a not great team. But if the deal doesn't include Brown, I'm not interested. So first, we have to start making some of the money work. Jaylen Brown makes about $6 million more than Jerami Grant right now. Well, that works out okay because we'd have to throw in another player. So what does that look like? And I want to talk to you about what that looks like. But first, I want to tell you what you're getting in a guy like Jaylen Brown. You're getting a guy who came into the league as an athletic freak. He was drafted early. I think some people thought it was a reach because they didn't know how his basketball skills would develop. But oh my goodness, did they develop under Brad Stevens. And the guy has become a great scorer in this league. If you don't believe me, let's look at the stats. 23.9 points per game this year. I think he was over 24 last year. The guy can flat put the ball in the hoop. He's got 3 assists a game because his job is to put the ball in the hoop. 6.5 boards. That's pretty good for a guy that's going to play your 3 or your 2. All right, 1.1 steals. He's shooting 36% from deep. Not great, but not bad for a volume shooter, and 45% from the field. He's not the most efficient player, but man, is he good. And I think a lot of what's been going on in Boston is it's kind of become this thing where it's give the ball to Brown, give the ball to Tatum, let him go to work. And I think it would be good for Brown to get away from Jason Tatum, get with a guy like Cade Cunningham, where we want to be running more of that motion offense, that free, fluid offense, but also it would be really nice for Cade to have another guy bear the scoring load. But here's the thing. I think Jaylen Brown is very similar to Jerami Grant in the fact that he is pretty ball dominant. I don't love that for the development of our young guys, but we're still wondering, is Jerami Grant good enough to be a number 2 or number 3 option on a championship contending team? I think we know he's not good enough to be the number 2 option. Jaylen Brown is. And I can say that confidently because he has been a number 2 option on a team that has contended and a team that people thought was a legitimate contender to win the Eastern Conference. So I know he's there. Again, this guy came into the league, could just jump out of the gym, and he has really put polish and finesse on his game. He's a clear number 2 option. I've watched him since he came into the league because I just think he's fun to watch. I would love this trade, but what do we have to add? Let's talk about what that looks like. I said I would do that later early in the video, so I better actually talk about it. I think you need to give up something else. You're giving up Jerami Grant. I think the big question is, does Boston feel like they have a problem at point guard? They have Marcus Smart there, and I understand that, and he has limited capabilities, but do they want someone like Killian Hayes? Would you as a Pistons fan be good with giving up Jerami Grant and Killian Hayes? Because I think it would take Jerami Grant, I think it would take Killian Hayes, and I think it would take another player. I think it would take 3 players. Maybe Kelly Olynyk. He's spent time there before. They might want him back. I think it could take those 3 players. Would you be willing to trade Jerami Grant, Kelly Olynyk, and Killian Hayes for Brown? That's the big question because that's what I think it would take, and I think they would absolutely have to consider that. We just did a trade package that was similar to that one. We offered it to the Sixers, reportedly on the Twitter, right? We reportedly offered that for Simmons plus a first-round pick. Here's the question. Do the Celtics do that without the first round pick? Do they think Killian Hayes is good enough because he wasn't in that trade package that he could develop? And that's like saying, hey, instead of a first round pick, we'll give you our first round pick from last year. And would Troy Weaver be willing to trade what I believe is his first draft pick? I don't know, lots of questions, but we would be getting a phenomenal player who would immediately actually become the best player on our team. And then if Cade develops how we hope he does, we could have a 1-1A type option, and we still could get a high draft pick going into next year. Man, that is exciting to think about. And that's why we're doing this, right? Because we want to be excited about the possibilities. And I'm telling you right now, it is not easy to get all-star caliber players. If we can get it, I say we go for it. Because Jerami Grant right now is not an all-star caliber player. Brown is. Let's do it. All right, go Pistons.